You know, like America is the land of the car, really, but Britain is trains. We're obsessed with trains. That scene in the train in 28 years later is really important scene, the fact it happens in a train. Most of the big trains now are less than 28 years old. So of course they wouldn't live in our universe, in our world, which stopped 28 years ago. So we found these guys who are proper train spotters. And what they do is they buy up old stock from the railways when they decommission trains, when they're no longer good enough to be in service. These guys buy them. They're saying, have you got any of these gauge railway carriages available? Could you do them up for those? And they say, sure. They make huge amounts of money out of these. Why are we obsessed with trains? I don't know. It's just so British. They're in a lot of the films I've made, yeah. I would use them. They'd invite me to come and do a Q&A after a screening of 28 Days Later. And it would be like 15 years after the film was out. And it's available on DVD. It's shown on Channel 4 the whole time. It's like, why are they screening it again? And I'd go to the cinema expecting it to be, you know, a few punters. And it's packed. These are packed. I always turn up for the last 15, 20 minutes or something like that, because I know the film quite well. And it is quite electric, the end of it. It's like, and everybody's like this, in their seats. I'd often write to Alex after it saying, listen, I've just been to a screening of it, and people are really connecting with the film still. And some of it's Cillian, obviously, you know, and his kind of ascendancy, what's happened. But it isn't just that. I think it's the idea and the manner with which we did it. And so that led us to think, could we actually investigate this further? In 28 Years Later, at the beginning, where Jodie Comer has to display a bit of the rage that's in her. And I told her we were going to use this rig around her. And it's a huge risk for an actor, because you're asking them to use this incredible expression right close up to basically iPhones. I love the technology. It liberates me. I think it liberates actors, because it lets you follow the actors rather than you tell the actor they have to move towards this key light. You know, we know they're much more sensitive, they'll shoot in lower light conditions, so you've got much more flexibility about instinctively following the actors. That suits the kind of filmmaking I like. I like actors, and I like responding to the best of them. Ralph Fiennes and Jodie Comer and Aaron Taylor-Johnson, they are magic actors, and they can do almost anything if you ask them to do it, and you give them the freedom, the space to do it in. There's an eliteness sometimes about filmmaking. It's self-imposed sometimes. I hate it. It's slightly superior. We're the filmmakers. There's a classical skill that you would be lucky to be part of if you'll come and watch it, and I'm not part of that. I would like everybody to feel that they can make films. They won't all be good films, necessarily, but there is so much talent that often gets wasted because it's blocked. Because it feels intimidated, like it feels like it's not for me. You look at the rise of women filmmakers recently, that's an example of it. Now, you're not telling me that there weren't those women filmmakers earlier. There were, but there just weren't the avenues for them to feel confident enough to step into those roles. So technology is one of the ways that you can break this classical world that says, and you'll find it's usually a male world, we do it this way, it has to be like this. You want to disrupt it if you can. And it's in disruption, it's through the crack that the light gets in.
Wait, sit here. Sit here. Auntie, what's going on? Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from this spot.
I'm a big editor. I love editing. I admire the editors I work with enormously. They don't get half the praise that they deserve. I find the process of editing a miracle, really, in a way. I like collage, art, putting stuff in there that shouldn't fit. When you get the scripts, they're very thin. They're like incredibly thin. Some scripts you get, Sorkin scripts are like this. You know, it's like everything's like there. Alex always says it's investigation. He expects you as a director to investigate the script. Don't just present it as it is. Just begin to investigate it and see what emerges out of it. They expect you to pour water on it and stir and kind of like let it grow and enlarge in front of you. He's very much a physics and science guy, and I'm kind of slightly more ambiguous about whether that's all there is. I'm a bit more of a mystery man. Initially, Alex did a version of it that you'd sort of expect. Weaponize the virus kind of sequel idea, which is like a military or a government or an agency wants to weaponize the virus, and that's how the story keeps expanding. Right. But that didn't really work for us. We didn't really get any traction with that. Then he started to think about a much bigger idea, and an idea of 3 films, which would each be independent of the first film, of 28 Days Later, though it inherits that in some ways, certainly the timeline, but each film is independent, enjoy it on its own. They would have elements within it that connected them, and that the storytelling is ambitious and outrageous in many ways, and you try to be as original as the first film was when it came out, and therefore you hope that in 20 years' time they'll still be showing these films at all and people will still be enjoying them, but who knows whether that'll be the case.